family. They love the family, they love the movies. Film with family. Two cousins, Austin and Zach.
Hello and welcome to Film with Family. I'm Austin.
And I'm Zach.
And we are two cousins who like to talk about movies. And today we have a very special family member who has been holding out on us since last season. We got her, Scout Zweifler.
Our cousin. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited.
Cousin Scout, the last of the California cousins.
No, I'm excited to be here.
Well, have you listened to the podcast, may I ask?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And the episodes are like an hour and a half and I love them, but I'm like, the movie's an hour and a half. Like, I don't know how long I can chat about it. Also, I was kind of nervous because I feel like a lot of people have like more serious movies, I was feeling like I didn't know if my movie was silly. And then I hadn't watched it in a while, so I was worried that I wasn't going to like it anymore, but that's not true.
Well, you're teasing what this movie is. We should say before we go any further that the movie we'll be talking about today is the 2003 Brittany Murphy film, Uptown Girls. And before we get into this movie, we just want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. We're talking about this movie that's supposed to be a rom-com. There is some love involved. I wouldn't say it's the
romantic love. We got sisterly love, which is arguably more important.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the quintessential Valentine's Day or romantic film, but there are some elements of romance in this film. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. I hope you're getting some loving. And Scout, thank you for being our first guest of the second season of Film with Family.
Had to keep you waiting just a bit, keep you on your toes.
Yeah, we had to save some big hitters for season 2.
Yeah,
so
you're welcome.
A great way to start.
You're welcome.
Molly Gunn was a rock and roll princess.
I'm a fan of your father's. Thanks.
Until reality.
Your electric has been canceled. Who pays your bills?
Bob
Gave her a wake-up call.
Bob Kapowski disappeared.
With $100 million.
Now the girl who never grew up.
So what do I do about money?
Get a job?
Is about to face her biggest challenge.
Oh my God. You're my new nanny?
Look at these cute little scones.
You got your germy drool of my plastic scone, you freako.
Kid, have you ever been to a shrink?
Since I was 3. Give me that plate.
Oops, no, sorry, you might infect it.
No! Get a broom.
I am employed by your mother.
Do you see her anywhere? News flash. You're working for me. I quit!
Uptown Girls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's Dakota Fanning, Brittany Murphy.
That's it. It's all we need.
They form a very special connection.
They're like an odd couple. You know, two people who are very different from each other, but they kind of balance each other out. It's about growing up. It's about grief. It's about like female relationships. So we're glad to have a female in the mix to talk about this.
I'm glad to talk about it. Yeah, I don't think I'd watched it since I probably hadn't watched it in like 5 years or something. And so I was feeling kind of nervous. I was like, oh, am I still gonna like it? Like, has it lost its luster? But I watched it a couple days ago. Loved it just as much. Still remembered like so many little details about it. I watched it with my boyfriend. He probably didn't get the same kick out of it as I did, but sat through it and kind of enjoyed it, I think.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it again this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I had it on in the background kind of. I was like doing stuff around my house and I'm like, oh, I can just have it in the back. Like I just watched it a couple days ago. And I like even today found myself like if I was away from the TV, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite, like rewinding this movie that I just watched 2 days ago again, because I'm like, oh, I can't miss this. Like, so yeah, it still stands very true that I just really love this movie. I think it's so cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It was fun to watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought you guys would get no thrill out of it. I was kind of nervous.
Yeah, no. It was, I mean, I'll watch anything. But before we get too deep into this, I just want to explain to our audience that you were actually there when we were coming up with the idea of this podcast.
Was it at the Bay?
No, it was at the Fleetwood Diner.
Oh, when we were talking about the fly.
Yeah, we were talking about the fly. We were talking about the whale.
Yes.
We convinced
Infinity
you to go see.
Pool.
Yeah, we saw Infinity Pool.
We convinced you to go see that movie, and we had already like kind of talked about like doing the podcast, but that was the first time like Zach and I were like face to face, and we were like, we should do this, and then like us all kind of talking together at the diner, we were like, this could work, because it was like we were all the family. It was like, I think it was you and Heath and me and Zach. We were all like sitting there,
and
like
Drew
just like
was there too.
Yeah, and we were all just like chatting about movies, and we were like, okay, I think we got something here.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't quite realize that, but now that you're bringing it up, yeah, that does sound super familiar.
Yeah, that's why we're like, Scout, we have to have you on. Like, you were there in the beginning.
I just I was like riling up the excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had you tabbed for like doing The Fly for a while, like because you mentioned that you saw that.
Okay, and I did love The Fly, but it just, I was like more I don't know, I just haven't seen it as many times. Like it, and I really do like The Fly, so maybe if I'm on for episode 2, but it just, this movie feels so much more like true to me. So I just had to send it.
It makes total sense, honestly. I mean, like The Fly is a pretty random thing. I think the only reason we were talking about it was because we took you to go see that Infinity Pool, which is,
the guy's dad. What's the director's name? Yeah.
Cronenberg.
David Cronenberg.
Yes.
So I don't know. I just wanted to add that to the pantheon of our to the canon of film with family lore. And
that was such a nice little trip too, right? We were all kind of in town for Grandpa's memorial.
Yeah.
And so like kind of a sad event, but it was like I had such a nice trip, and I like got to hang out with you guys a lot, and like Drew, just like cousins that I hadn't really seen in a while, or like hadn't really spent like a significant amount of time with. And like I just remember like having so many laughs, like having just such a good trip, and like just getting to spend a lot of time with you guys that I like in a way that I like hadn't really before. So yeah, it was a nice little trip.
But yeah, and then I just wanted to know like what's going on in your life these days. Like, how's life? You're in Fresno, right?
No, I'm in San Diego. I've been in San Diego.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of my my scale of the last time I watched the movie. I hadn't watched it since I've lived in San Diego. So it's been at least 4 years. I think like 5 years probably since I'd seen it yet last. But yeah, I'm in San Diego. Nothing crazy. My latest saga, I'm sitting where my couch used to be, but it's not my couch anymore because I had a mouse in my apartment, and it was like had this guy come and like clog the holes and like do whatever.
Just one mouse?
I would like to think so. I don't know. I don't want to talk
be
about
hopeful.
It's just one.
But this guy came to like fill up the holes in the walls where he might have been getting in from, and then I think the mouse is gone. And then I hear something from my couch, and so I like pull a pillow back on my couch. Meanwhile, my cat, I have a cat, his name's Romeo. He's sitting on the couch as this is happening, and I pull the pillow back, and he's not behind the pillow, but then I see that there's like mouse poop on my couch, and I'm like, oh, gross. And then I'm looking in the corner, and there's a hole, like he made a hole in my couch, and then out of the hole pops his little mouse head, and then I like scream, and he runs back into the couch, and so now my couch was like had mouse poop all in the little crevices, has a live mouse in it. So I like call my boyfriend to come over, and we like put the whole couch out, because I'm like, I don't even want to know what's in there. So now I'm sitting on my makeshift couch, Thanks so much for asking. What was the question?
Wait, what? Wait, so is the couch with the mouse in it the one that you're sitting on right now? Or
No, this is
You
like it was like a little
okay.
bench that used to be
Oh,
like at
okay.
the foot of my bed kind of thing. So
Okay.
I just kind of moved things around. No, that couch is in the alley. Yeah, I'm
Did
set
this
up.
just happen today, or like did you just
No,
throw
this
it out?
happened like the day before yesterday.
Oh wow, that is
So
exciting.
it's still pretty fresh. Yeah, super exciting.
Romeo's not doing his job. He should be dealing with that mouse.
He's really not. Yeah, all of the forums on like how to get rid of a mouse, people are like, just get a cat. And I'm like,
Yeah,
check. Yeah, he's useless.
and especially because he was on the couch when you
On
figured
the
it
couch
out.
as it happened. Actually, when I first found out that I had a mouse was I'm sorry, this is so unrelated.
No,
But
this is what we're here for.
I have like my cat food on the floor and I have like my shoes kind of next to it. And I grabbed this pair of shoes that I hadn't worn in a while. And I like picked them up and there was like a third of a cup of cat food in there. Like, and I'm like, there was no way that Romeo couldn't have put it in there. And it wouldn't have just like fallen in there. It was like clear that a mouse had stashed cat food into my shoe that was like kind of in the corner. So the mouse robbed my cat. My cat didn't even do anything. He got robbed by a mouse.
Wow,
He wasn't stopping it at all.
it's a real Tom and Jerry situation going on.
Yeah, I think Romeo's really gonna miss him.
Stealing
Yeah.
his food.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's exciting.
Thank you. Hopefully that's the end of the saga. Hopefully.
And what are you doing for work these days?
I work in just like a restaurant. It's called Monarch. It's in San Diego. I've been there for 3 of the 4 years that I lived in San Diego. So nothing too exciting, but a lot of my friends work there, so I like it. It's fun.
That's great.
Nice. Well, I should say for anyone who's listening that it's not really it's not in the family. I should say that your dad's Uncle John. We did the Oppenheimer episode. You got your brothers Troy and Heath who've also been on the pod.
And
Bray and Sean,
Sean
you did
and
a little
Bray.
time warp again, just like in
Yeah.
our episode.
Yeah. So yeah, we're
little
glad to have
homage.
you here. We're glad to be checking you off our list of family that we need to get.
Yeah.
It's getting very small now.
It
so
is.
I'm
Yeah.
glad
Yeah.
you're here.
Yeah. No, me too.
Yeah, we
I'm
almost have
excited.
the whole Zweifler crew.
Yeah.
Okay, so Uptown Girls, 2003. How old are you in 2003?
I was like 6. I don't actually remember the first time that I watched the movie. I just remember it always being on. My mom had it on DVD and the case was almost always empty because it was always in the DVD player in her room because I just always wanted to watch it. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I just always wanted to watch it at home.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your mom had bought it and it was just at home in the DVD player. You were just watching it there all the time, or
I would like to think that Brittany Murphy sent it to me knowing that I would want to see it. Well, so I went home for Christmas last week and I have like my 2 best friends that I've known like basically my whole life. And both of them separately, I was like telling them about the podcast on 2 separate occasions. And they both were like, oh yeah, Uptown Girls. Like, obviously you're doing Uptown Girls. Like, you made us watch it so many times. Like, and I don't even really remember making them watch it, but they were just so like, yeah, the only reason I've seen this movie is because of you. And they're just like, yeah, obviously this is the movie that you're doing. Like, with just like without doubt. I thought it was really funny because I don't even really remember that much, but they both did.
Yeah, I don't remember like forcing Austin to watch Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, or all the movies that you watch when you'd come over, but that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, it's funny the things that some people remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was my first time watching it, I'll say.
I was gonna ask, have you guys heard of it?
I'd never heard of it, and
No?
this was my first time watching it as well.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either. I did ask a coworker today if they'd seen it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, of course."
Yes, it's kind of
Yeah.
like a cult classic for me. I don't know. A couple people I asked, and I was like, "Oh, nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about." And a lot of like who did you ask? A coworker?
Yeah, it was a female coworker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it does seem like a movie that's more on girls' radar than guys.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a safe thing to say.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, I know that like the Rotten Tomatoes like score is like a 13%.
Wait, I have such a funny thing to say. Okay, because I I made a tweet like 5 years ago saying like, no, who's behind Rotten Tomatoes and who the hell gave Uptown Girls a 14%, which is a drama because I'm giving Brittany Murphy and Dakota Fanning their flowers. Like, there's no way that I would have gotten this wrong. And then I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's now 13% instead of the 14%.
Yeah.
So, which leads me to believe that the score has gone down 1% sometime in the last 5 years. I want to talk. I want to talk to whoever's in charge.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that that's because most of the people that are reviewing it are men who probably don't know how to relate to this film because, you know, it passes the Bechdel test. You know, it's, you know, there are scenes in the movie where two women are talking to each other and not about a man. And it is you know, it's a very like it's a story about like girls and women and like growing up as a woman. So I'm just curious, like, yeah, like what's your like personal connection to this movie? Like what do you like see in it?
Okay, so when I first watched it, I must have been super little. And I have always, like, I don't think anybody has ever been so enamored with someone as I am with Brittany Murphy in this movie particular. Like, I just think she's the most beautiful person on the planet. And she's just like, her character is just like so cute and bubbly and like full of life. I'm just like so obsessed with her. And I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to feel the same way watching it? I absolutely do. And yeah, just like her and Dakota Fanning, like you think of Dakota Fanning as like a child actor, but you see her in this and she's like so itty bitty. Like I think this is one of her like earlier films and she's so small. And like even in her crankiness is just like so cute.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know if it's like the same way for guys, but I feel like as a young girl, like one of my most important like relationships or role models were like girls who are older than you but like younger than your parents. Like my sister Brie is like 13 years older than me or so, like a significant amount older than me. Always thought she was the coolest. Or I had this nanny who was like, she's my brother's ex-girlfriend. She was his ex-girlfriend even at the time, but she would like pick us up from school. She would do everything with us. And I just like, I just thought she was the coolest person on the planet. And yeah, she was like older than me, cooler than me. And that's just like how I felt like their little dynamic was. Yeah, I just like felt like I felt like I could relate to it, I guess, but I don't know. They're just so cute. Also, the movie is just so like the outfits in the movie are so iconic. Like just everything that Brittany Murphy wears is amazing, but also Dakota Fanning's sunglasses are like a supporting actor in their self. I don't really think I'd noticed that until rewatching it, but I just think it's so hilarious. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really connected with the pig character.
Yes.
I was like, it starts right off with the pig too. I was like, there's a pig in this movie.
He's the first guy, pretty much. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the way his little legs like fold over onto themselves when he sits down is
I wrote
so
that in my
precious.
notes. It was like the way his legs are folded right now.
Yes,
it's really good.
Everything. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you noticed that. The leg fold is everything.
Yeah, he looks so comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time.
It's like a little deer almost.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like looking at the plot of this movie on Wikipedia, like I was just refreshing myself today, and like the pig is not mentioned at all. Like the pig has no bearing on anything in this, but the pig gets a lot of screen time. He's just around, but he doesn't really matter. But I just love the choice that she has a pig.
Yeah. And also the second movie that Dakota Fanning is in that features a pig because she's also in Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web, yeah. Oh, how funny. Yeah,
Yes.
true. She's just got a special connection with him.
I guess so. I don't really know much about Dakota Fanning. And then, so when I was looking into this, I didn't realize that she's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as like an older woman. You know, she plays like one of the girls who like lives on that ranch.
Yeah, the Manson family.
Yeah. I think that's probably the role that I most know her for. But yeah, no, it's cool. She's great in this. She's just like such a force.
Yeah, I think she has the funniest lines in the movie. I just think she's such a
her comedic timing's on point. I was definitely laughing a lot at her
Yes.
lines.
Right
good.
idea.
Yeah.
The ladies'
Wait.
room.
Oh my gosh, I remember my mom's friends, like, okay, you know Avon, like the little makeup selling kind of company.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It's like a thing. I remember my mom's friend did something like that, but it was candles. It was like party light candles. And I remember we had lampshades that looked exactly like that little lampshade that she put it just like I feel like so many things of this movie. I'm like it's just like such a good little time capsule. Like I
Right.
just feel like they so nailed it.
Was that something that people were doing in the early 2000s?
Selling candles or putting lampshades in their hair.
Putting lampshades in their hair. Because she's like, where'd you get it? She's like, Home Depot or like whatever.
Yeah, she thinks
like,
it's some like fancy designer. I don't know. I might have to bring it back.
Yeah, do it. No, I mean, I definitely see a lot of Brittany Murphy in you, honestly. Like when I was watching it, I was like,
Stop.
no wonder Scout loves this because I mean, and it's interesting too, because you probably saw this movie like what, like when you were 10 or something?
Or younger.
So like
Yeah.
around Dakota Fanning's age,
Yeah,
and now you're
exactly.
like around
Her age,
Brittany
yeah.
Murphy's age.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know if that kind of resonates with you, like now that like you're seeing it where you're like closer to Molly's characters,
Yeah.
age.
Well, I do. Okay, well, it's funny that you said you're like, oh, it's not really a rom-com because I
Mm-hmm.
like totally agree. I think when I was younger watching it, I thought I was like, oh, this guy is like so dreamy, like, and like really rooting for them. And then watching it back, like they literally don't have one cute moment together. Like he is such like he doesn't do anything nice for her. And she's not even that interested in him, right? When she's like, oh, I gotta have him. And then in that like beginning, kind of when he comes over the first night, she's in the bathtub calling her friend, like, I gotta get him out of here. Like they don't
suffocating.
Yeah. But then when he goes to leave, she's like, what, you're leaving? But yeah, they don't have any nice moments together. Like she's buzzing outside of his door. He doesn't let her in. He's like, oh, I got to see you again because I haven't been able to write a song since I saw you. Or like when they're in the diner and she's like, she goes to pay for the bill and he's like, oh no, I got a record deal. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I can't get a word in edgewise. Like he's just so mean to her. Like they're nothing. Like they have no romantic anything throughout the whole movie. Like it's that like he's just Ken, like absolutely, like but worse. Like he's nothing in the movie. Like so yeah,
he totally has a lot of Kenergy.
Yeah. I did not like his character very much. Neil, he's like this musician guy that she falls for.
Neil Fox.
He's played by Jesse Spencer, who I know from the TV show House. I don't know if you guys ever got into House. I would watch House as a boy because I didn't have much options, but I didn't like him very much in that show either. But I don't know.
Australian.
Yeah,
right?
We hate someone Spencer.
Jesse Spencer. Yeah, no,
Jesse Spencer.
He's celibate like Morrissey.
Well, he's celibate, and then
he immediately has sex with her.
Well, he has sex with her, and then he has sex with Roma, Ray's mom, like however
Heather
much
Locklear.
later. Yes. So how celibate are you, sir?
Yeah. No, he's pretty weak celibate.
Yeah.
But we should mention, Heather Locklear is in this movie too. Which she's like, what was she in? Like 90210 or. She was in some like hit TV show that was like I think had just got off the air. So she was like kind of like her star was fading a little bit during this time. And she plays like a pretty small role in this. And
I guess she was on Melrose Place.
Melrose Place.
That sounds
that
about
was
right.
it. Yeah.
And Dynasty.
Okay.
Yeah, Ray's mom who's never around. When Brittany Murphy's character Molly is like, oh, I work for your mom, not you. And she's like, well, my mom's never around. So you work
like,
for
look
me.
around.
Yeah. You just feel so sad for her. Well, what Zach was saying earlier when you were reading a synopsis, I kind of read some little synopsis on Google and it's like, oh yeah, Molly and Ray are like unlikely friends. And then it says her boyfriend Neil helps her navigate this tough relationship. And I'm like, first of all, did you even watch the movie? Because he was never her boyfriend, and he certainly doesn't help her navigate their relationship even a little.
Not at all.
No,
He
this guy
sucks.
is probably the guy behind Rotten Tomatoes, giving him a 13%.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, I just
And
thought that was funny.
he's toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of the worst.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting thing because it's like when you think of rom-coms around this time, you think of them as being like the guy going after the girl or
And
like
you're rooting for him more.
yeah, but this one kind of it's like the romance is sort of like the red herring. Like it's like you think it's about that, but it's actually
Yeah, it's so
about this.
secondary.
Yeah, it's actually about the relationship between these two women. I guess they were a girl and a girl and a woman. But
I don't see any grown-ups around here.
I do. um, but yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting like element to this movie, and I think that that's probably the aspect of it that a lot of people are kind of missing when they're reviewing the film because it's like it subverts a lot of like the tropes of that era, even though it is campy and it is goofy. Like there's a lot of like kind of goofy moments in this where like I don't know that moment when she first brings Neil back home and she just like swinging the guitar around like crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
She's
what
like,
the hell?
obviously I'm a rock star's daughter. Watch me throw this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so cringe to watch in the best way.
Yeah. Or when they're like, yeah, Muddy Waters gave him this guitar. Or like the dad's band's name is the Shoey Shoes.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
Well, yeah, they list off a few different band names he was a part of, and they're all really
that was
so
his
funny.
first band.
The Shoey Shoes. I was like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, we should try to give like maybe a little maybe general synopsis for our listeners, or maybe even a plot bop. I don't know.
A light plot bop.
It's a light plot bop. We're bringing back the plot bop, guys. Season 2, our first plot bop.
Okay, so the main character Molly, she her parents were her dad was a rock star, right? So she has like money from her parents, but her parents both died when she was young. And so she has like money left over from that. The first night is like the eve of her 22nd birthday, and she's like going out to party, and she sees this like musician is playing at her party. And she's like, I gotta have him. She has the guy, whatever. I feel like I can't synopsis it without saying every little detail. She meets Ray at the party,
go ahead.
whatever. But basically she runs out of money. And so she has to get a job. And her job is nannying Ray, this like little girl who's difficult. And just about their kind of relationship. But also Neil's in the background, the musician, but he's just Ken. He's not important. And Moo is in there, her pig.
Yeah. Yeah, she's rich. She's got a lot of friends. She's like kind of popular and she has a lot of money, but she loses all of her money because the guy who like managed
her money, just like up and left to South America, we can only guess.
Yeah, she gets screwed over. Yeah, so now she has to fend for herself. She's like never had a real job before. Kind of thing.
Yeah. And then Ray's mom isn't really around, so she always has a nanny, and she's like goes through nannies, and then Molly's the first nanny that kind of sticks. So her mom's not around, and then Ray's dad is like sick, dying. So
yeah, at one point they say he's a vegetable, which is that politically correct to say someone's a vegetable still?
I don't know.
That's a general question.
An inanimate object. I don't know. No, yeah, he had like a coma or a stroke, and then now he's in a coma, and so that's kind of part of the way that the two of them can relate, because it's like they're both kind of like
don't have parents essentially.
Yeah. They have absent parents, like her parents died.
Family.
Yeah.
There's the connection.
Yeah, there's just like some tragic stuff going on that I wasn't really expecting from this movie. Just like, yeah, the plane crash, the parents' death, and the dad and the coma. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, this movie, like, it has some real emotional underpinnings to it. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be a fun movie, but it gets real, you know.
I cried 2 days ago when I watched it, and then I cried again today when I watched it.
Yeah.
Just her
Yeah.
mom who doesn't go to her little ballet recitals.
Mm-hmm. And she's and the whole teacup stuff is very
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
yeah.
that was my first cry of the film. The teacup when she's sitting in her teacup and she looks so teeny in the little teacup and she doesn't even look up at the camera. She just looks so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're both kind of like dealing with grief in their own way, and you know, you could like write like a psychological like thesis about this because it's like Brittany Murphy lost her parents when she was young, and she's kind of like stuck in this like childlike way. It's like kind of how she's adapted. Whereas Dakota Fanning's character kind of has lost her parents, so she's like becoming her own parent. Like she's like, so you've got this little girl who's becoming an adult like too soon, and then you've got this adult who like wants to stay a child. So they're kind of like balancing each other out in this interesting way, and it's like it's all because they don't have like a parents to kind of guide them, so they're using their own like coping mechanisms. It's kind of a deep way of looking at this sort of silly movie, but I mean but I do think that it resonates in that way.
Yeah, I was thinking about the concept of spinning a lot when I was watching it because Molly's obsessed with spinning. She's obsessed with the teacup spinning. And like
Hmm.
when she first meets Neil, like she like forces like a spin move grab on him, and he's like,
Yeah, she does.
and he's kind of uncomfortable by it.
Or
And
when
but
Right.
her and Ray are dancing in their room and she's like spinning her all around and
yeah,
Ray's screaming for her to stop.
yeah, that scene's kind of intense. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
like, but yeah, there's just like a lot of spinning around. I was like, oh, what
Or
is?
the song in the beginning where she's like spinning around the sun, making
Yeah,
my
Oh,
way.
dang. Wow. There's a lot. Yeah, and like just
Bangers.
like ballet in general, you're spinning around
Mhm.
in the dancing. And I think like
Mhm.
the very first shot of the movie is like they're like whip panning around her room in that way too. So good call, Zach.
yeah, but yeah, I was thinking of like spinning as like maybe a metaphor for Molly and how she's living her life. Like she's just like trying to have fun, but she's not really like going anywhere or progressing or like I don't know. She's kind of stuck in place, but like just trying to make the most of it and have fun. I don't know. That was
Yeah.
me kind of reaching for like some symbolism in the spinning.
Yeah. Well, I think like the dancing element is definitely a metaphor too, because you look how like rigidly Ray is dancing throughout the movie with her ballet. And then, you know, they have that scene in Central Park where she's like, oh, freestyle. It's like it's for
Mhm.
hippies or whatever. And then they're like, and then Brittany Murphy's like, no, that's what's fun. And then at the end of the movie, Ray like kind of does her own little freestyle dance.
No, at the end of the movie when she's doing the dances, it's the same dances that Brittany Murphy was doing earlier in her room. She does the same little
Uh,
it's the
I didn't make
same
that
dance
connection.
move. That also was my other crying point in the movie. Yes, she's doing the same dance moves. If you guys had seen this movie 800 times like I have, yeah, she's doing the same moves. It's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
and when
Yeah.
they're in Central Park and there's that whole where they're discussing like dancing and like freestyle dancing and whatever, they play on Broadway, which is the you know that like dun 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 dun,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
which is the opening song of All That Jazz.
Hmm.
And I just watched this like old video of Brittany Murphy like walking around Blockbuster that she did for MTV. Like where it's just like we have Brittany Murphy walking around Blockbuster, like pick your favorite movies. And she picks All That Jazz as one of her
Ah!
favorite movies.
All right, I gotta
Wow.
watch now.
Yeah, it sounds like a
So
great time capsule thing. MTV and Blockbuster and Brittany Murphy.
yeah.
Gotta watch
Uh,
that.
so yeah, she picks, these are her choices. She picks Superstar, with Molly Shannon, the SNL,
Wait, is Will
movie.
Ferrell in that? Superstar?
Yeah.
superstar.
No,
Yeah.
I've never seen it. But one of my coworkers always calls me Superstar because he was like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I was like, "Scout." And he's like, "What is it?" And he thought I said Superstar. Now he always like Superstar. And he's like, "Have you ever seen that movie?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Have you watched that movie yet?" And I'm always like, "No, I haven't." So if it's Brittany Murphy's favorite movie and my coworker is bugging me about it, no, it's definitely on the list.
Okay, so she picked Superstar, Reality Bites, the Ben Stiller movie, All That Jazz, and Cabaret, both Bob Fosse movies, and one of Grandma's favorite movies is Cabaret. Big with Tom Hanks, Shrek,
Shrek is a banger.
and Beverly Hills Cop. Those were the movies she rented at Blockbuster in 2004.
I'm adding them all to the list. I think the only one I've seen is Shrek.
Wow.
I'm not much of a movie watcher.
Well,
yeah. Those are not a bad place to start.
yeah.
Well, I've never seen Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I think they're bringing it back too.
Yeah. But yeah, Brittany Murphy, she seems great. This is like my first real time like watching her in a movie. I saw her in Clueless, but she's like a brunette in that movie, which doesn't feel like her essence. Her essence is a blonde.
She's a brunette in a lot of her movies. They're like in Girl Interrupted, she's like has almost black hair, and she's really good in that movie too.
Yeah, apparently she's in 8 Mile, which I somehow have never seen.
Actually, me neither.
Oh man,
as a Brittany Murphy fan, I missed out.
I saw that in the theater.
Really?
Oh yeah, when that first came out, because my girlfriend at the time had a huge crush on Eminem.
I thought you were going to say Brittany Murphy. I was like, me too.
Well, but I remember there's a very steamy sex scene between Eminem and Brittany Murphy, who apparently they actually did like have a fling.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Wow.
And on the set of the movie, like there's like a David Letterman clip where he was like, "So is that true?" And she was like, "Yeah, it kind of came and went." Like,
yeah. He's like,
"Oh, it's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, so they just like hooked up."
It's going. It came and went. Yeah.
But I just remember when I saw that in the theater and that sex scene happened, she was like gripping my arm. She was just like, "Oh my God." Like it was like everything she ever wanted to see is like Eminem having sex. And yeah, I'll just say like Brittany Murphy looks incredible in this movie. Like she is just smoking hot.
Yeah.
I mean, like she is, period, but I just think she looks particularly beautiful. Yeah.
Peak Brittany Murphy. She's so stunning. I just think she is the most beautiful woman on the planet. Like, I just, in this movie in particular, always, but in this movie, and all of her outfits are ridiculous. She just looks so great.
Yeah. She looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And she's just so charming. That's what I was like, really, it's just like so funny, and just like, I'm just really enjoying her presence. And I could definitely see her star power, and I'm like, can't believe this is the first time I've really like noticed Brittany Murphy in anything.
Yeah,
but now I want to watch more of her movies because she's great.
She has also, she's in this movie Ramen Girl, which is like this weird kind of, but I was talking to my boyfriend's sister about Uptown Girls, and I was telling her that I was going to do this movie on this podcast, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, if you like Uptown Girls, I have a gem for you." And I was like, "Ramen Girl?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I've been there, girl, already seen it." But yeah, it's kind of a funny, like,
does she eat a lot of ramen? Like, is that the premise?
She like moves to Tokyo, and you just gotta watch it.
Guys, I just had ramen for lunch.
You should have watched Ramen Girl. Come on.
Didn't she get moved from Japan, or is it from Thailand or something? Like she like saved the pig. Like
from Thailand, yeah. She's like, "Oh, moo means pork in Thai."
Yeah, because it was gonna be in her curry, and then she like somehow saved the pig so it wouldn't get killed.
Fell in love.
Yeah, I like that backstory.
Yeah. The pig is definitely a highlight of this movie.
It's kind of like a major player. He like, because he moves around a lot. Like whenever something dramatic is happening, like when she gets out of the apartment, when she gets kicked out of the apartment, the pig is outside. Or like, or when Ray's dad dies, the pig just gets delivered to Huey's house and she's like, oh, So he kind of like motions for these like big things that are happening in the movie.
Yeah, and he's on the poster too.
What a pig. Yeah, he's an important pig.
But he also has that, I mean, he's like on Ray's bed when they have that really sweet moment, like towards the end. And it's and yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's like pigs like are like symbolize this like kind of dirty. I don't know. People think of like pigs as dirty, and like Ray is kind of like
such a germaphobe.
Yeah, germaphobe. But like she's like, yeah, the pig kind of symbolizes that like she's kind of loosening up and being a little bit more chill by the end of the movie. Like she's got the pig on the bed and she's like petting it, and
or when she goes to talk to her dad, and the first thing she tells him about is her new pet pig. She's like, he's actually pretty clean even for a pig.
Yeah,
the pig holds them together.
Truly.
It's the glue.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we're just talking about Brittany Murphy too, guys, I'm gonna say I have to admit something. I did not know that she died.
Oh my God, I remember where I was. I remember sitting in front of the TV in my mom's room, sitting on the floor, and it was just like on the news. And I remember, and I was like so devastated. I remember being so sad about it. And I was probably like 12 at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Under really weird circumstances because she was super young.
Yeah, she was 32.
It was in 2009.
Yeah, 2009. And they say of pneumonia, but I guess there's some controversy around it because do you know about, like, can you dig into the controversy a bit?
Yeah, well, they had this whole HBO special on it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called like What Happened to Brittany Murphy, or who, yeah. And she, well, like obviously you guys have seen her. She's like this really beautiful woman, and she's like kind of at the like in a good point in her career. And she starts dating this guy, and he's like not he's like nothing to write home about, like physically.
Yeah, he's a weird looking guy.
Yeah, he's a weird
kind of
looking
like
guy.
Foreign, right? Like he's like,
yeah. And
not that that's a problem, but like he just seems a little weird. Yeah, it's like, wait, you're dating this guy? Yeah.
None of her
like the
family
most
really
beautiful,
liked him.
like one of the most famous actresses in Hollywood, and you're like dating this like weird kind of like out of shape foreigner guy, like who seems a lot older than her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was a lot older than her. Yeah, I think they got married, and then
Sergio.
Oh gosh, what was Simon Malls something. Simon, I can't remember what his last name was. But yeah, just under weird circumstances. She was like super skinny and had like, she was like anemic. It was like that her autopsy said that she died of pneumonia and like anemia as contributing factors. But it's like, I mean, you just go to the hospital, like if you're sick like that. But then, so she died of like that weird, pneumonia, but like who in 2010 dies of pneumonia? I mean, if you like have money to go to the doctor. And then like 6 months later.
And she was like 100 pounds, right?
Yeah,
like she was
So she was super thin too. Yeah. Died. And then like 6 months later. Oh, okay. So she dies, and then her husband and her mom. So she lives with her mom and her husband, like all in the same house. And it says that like her mom and her husband have this like, they would like do interviews together. I don't know, like weird. Like in the show, it's like, oh yeah, we would like sleep together because we were like grieving over Brittany. Like, I don't know, just so Simon and her mom have this weird thing going on. I mean, I don't think that I don't know, but and then like 6 months later, Simon dies too, also of pneumonia.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Odd. Yeah, and I saw this really weird. I can't find the clip right now, but so Simon and Brittany Murphy's mom did an interview on Larry King together.
Yes.
And Larry King like asks like, why didn't you want to do an autopsy or something
like
that?
Oh yeah, that was another weird thing.
And he's like, oh, I didn't want to like cut her up because she had curves in all the right places and stuff. And it's like, that is such a weird thing to say.
Yeah, about your young 30-year-old dead wife.
Yeah, like next to
her mom.
Yeah. It's just, there's a lot of like creepiness going on there, but I mean, it's all alleged. I mean, as of right now,
Yeah.
It said, she died of pneumonia, at a very
Which
young
is super
age.
sad. Yeah, just like no need for it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Quite
just seems like
tragic.
super preventable.
But thankfully we have this film that will live on forever.
Yeah.
And she will be one of these kind of legendary actresses that will just live in youth for forever. Yeah, I mean, Clueless, I grew up with that movie. That's how I knew her. And I don't know, I always think of that one line where she's like, do you ever do it in water? or like you're a virgin who doesn't
can't drive. I thought you were gonna go for that one, but for sure. And then in a clip, she's like, actually, at the time, I was a virgin who couldn't drive.
Yeah, because she was really young when she did Clueless.
Yeah.
She was like the youngest person in the cast. And Donald Faison is in Clueless as well. So this is the second time they've worked together.
Who is?
Huey.
Gooey Huey.
Huey, yeah, Gooey Huey, yeah.
Yeah, notable from the TV show Scrubs. Zach Braff's best friend, and they seem to be best friends in real life too.
Yeah, they're doing all those like Verizon commercials together now or something.
Yeah, they're back at it.
Got their
cell phones
together.
In commercial form. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has kind of a smaller role in this one, but he's like pretty funny and likable for sure.
Yeah. I wasn't too impressed by him, honestly. But
I think it's so funny when she's like, when they're watching his music video and she's like, oh, what a one-hit wonder he turned out to be. And he's like, it's his first single. It just dropped. And she's like, oh, this is so 80s. And he's like, I produced this and the 80s are back. I think he's funny.
We got to talk about that music video.
Yeah, I like the music video, and that like the production quality of it is like shitty, like noticeably like kind of bad music video, which I feel like a lot of times in movies, like when there's like some kind of video like within the video, it's like it'll just be like the same quality as the movie itself. But I like when they there's a noticeable production quality difference with the music video, which I thought was good detail there. What's the name of the song?
Sheets of Egyptian cotton. Come on, Zach. Where were you?
And it's got like a little bit of an Egyptian like flair to it.
Bangers. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think like all the songs are so catchy.
Wait, hold on. Let's listen to a little bit of Sheets of Egyptian Cotton, shall we?
By Neil.
Ships crossing like ghosts in the night, names unremembered, faces in sight. Take what we can and need to survive. Words exchanging kisses, if you leave me scarred.
Gotta wait for the hook.
Yeah. The hook that Brittany insisted on.
Yeah.
What unfolds, don't have what I need, girl, now I love you so. Na 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 na, sheets of Egyptian cotton. Na 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 na, sheets of Egyptian cotton. Na 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 na, sheets of Egyptian cotton. Na 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 na, sheets of Egyptian cotton. Motionless.
Oh boy.
It's a catchy song. Gotta admit. This made me remember.
The na 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 has kind of come out of nowhere.
It made me remember when he's like playing the song for Brittany Murphy and the beginning part's kind of slower, and when he's first playing it for her, she's like, oh yeah, purple's your color. And he's like, oh, I thought you were talking about the song. And she's like, yeah, the song kind of sucks. Like it needs a hook, it needs something. And then he's playing the beginning part and she's like, and like pretending to sing along. She's like, and then not like she has no idea what's going on until the new words come on and she's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, and he's wearing the jacket that she tailored for him.
Yeah, a lot of drama about the jacket.
Do you want to talk about the jacket drama?
he left his jacket at her house, and then she lit it on fire, like baking cookies in some like silly little like video thing with her friend. And she's
So
like, oh
funny how
shit,
they're like, there's no way she's gonna be able to
she's
cook
not gonna
these.
mess up the cookies. Yeah. And then you flash 2 seconds later and the oven's on fire and she's fanning out the oven with the jacket and she's like, oh phew. And then she's like, oh shit, this is Neil's jacket. And so she like cuts the head off a teddy bear and like paints it black and like sews the little zebra print on the edge and adds all these like grommets. I mean, it's decidedly ugly, but it's like, but she gives him back the jacket and he's like, you ruined my jacket. But then he wears the jacket in this video and it's a hit and everybody's coming up to her like, I need a jacket like that. I need pants like that. But I mean, she really was like the force. Like she was the one who was like, no, this song needs a hook. And she's like, made the jacket for him, you know? And he's telling her, he's like, oh yeah, I haven't been able to write a song without you. It's like,
he tells her that she's the muse, his muse.
Yeah, not I miss you, just like I haven't been able to write a good song. We hate Neil.
Yeah, I was mad when he came back at the end to play the Molly Smile song.
Yeah, even the end is like so cute, but it's like Neil's just in the background singing. Like the cute part is Ray dancing and like doing her cute little dance moves. He's just there.
Yeah, he's kind of messing up the vibe a little bit just with his presence. But I'm glad that the movie doesn't end with like them like getting back together or something. Like they don't go there, which I'm glad because she can do a lot better than Neil.
Yeah, she can have Mark McGrath or Dave Navarro.
Yeah, Dave Navarro from Red Hot Chili Peppers make a cameo. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, really? Oh, are those the guys who asked for the jackets at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know who that was.
Yeah,
That's so
Mark
funny.
McGrath is the guy from Sugar Ray.
Huh.
Yeah, the guy with the frosted tips.
You
don't know Sugar Ray?
Every morning when I'm hanging in.
I know the song, but I wouldn't know. This is the only Sugar Ray song that I know, but I would have never known who it is. That's so funny. Bangers. That's so funny. I never knew that. Learning something new about my favorite movie.
And Fisher Stevens, who you may know from Succession. He's the manager who like interrupts when he's like, hey, Garth Brooks wants to talk to you.
Oh.
And like takes him away. He's like a great character actor.
Oh,
yeah.
so
And there's also a fun cameo from 80 Miles if you're a fan of Tim and Eric. He pops up as at the auction scene. He's like on the phone. I was like, hey, it's AD.
Yeah. Fool's gold.
Fool's gold.
But there's a lot of great moments. She jumps off the bridge.
Oh my gosh, that scene is so funny to me. I was cracking up. Yeah, just like so dramatic. Goes to jump off the bridge and then it's like 2 feet deep, and everyone's like, "It's filthy in there. Get out! You're swimming in sewage." She's like, "Yeah, I got it."
Yeah, the idea is she's like trying to kill herself because it just like doesn't bother to see how short of a bridge it is.
Yeah,
it looks like fake too. Like it looks like animated or something. The way that she drops off the bridge and like pops back up. I was like, is that CGI? This looks weird.
I don't know. So funny though. Yeah, the shoe just floats up next to her.
Oh yeah, while we're shouting out actors, her friend, who's played by Marley Shelton, I recognize her. She's in the movie Planet Terror. Which, that's a great movie, and so I was like kind of fun to see her again.
Ingrid, I remember when I was younger, I used to think that her friend was like the worst. Like I thought she was so bitchy, and now watching it as I'm older, I'm like, oh no, like she was like a good friend, and truly the villain is Neil.
Yeah,
it's funny the like different takeaways that you get as you like.
Yeah, Molly gets to live with Ingrid for a bit. I'm not sure what was the falling out there. Like
they had plans to like go do something, and Ingrid is definitely more like type A, and Molly's very much not that. And they had plans for like something so lame. So I think it was like they had a tea tasting, I think, or something that they were supposed to go to. And Molly's like, oh, I have a date. I'm already 30 minutes late. And she's like, well, I just thought you would remember that we had plans. And then they kind of get in like a fight about this, but they make up by the end of the movie.
Yeah. I love it. She's like, it's post-nuclear.
Yeah, they definitely balance each other out. She needs that that structure for sure.
Also, like, where is Molly living? Like, is that supposed to be an apartment building? I think this looks like a castle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea, right? It's like in the little
True.
monologue in the beginning, it's like, oh, what, there was once a princess and the king and queen were long gone. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to New York, so what do I know? But
There's a scene where they go to Nathan's Hot Dogs. I like that scene, and forces her to eat a hot dog. Forces Dakota Fannin's character to eat a hot dog, and she's like, just like takes like the tiniest bite of hot dog, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, dude, that made me want to have a Nathan's hot dog so bad. I've been to that
so
Nathan's hot dog in
really?
in Coney Island.
I want to go. I love the brand Nathan's hot dogs. Like if I'm at the store, I'll pick them up because they're great dogs.
That's so funny that made you want a hot dog. She's like so disgusted by it the whole
time. Because I've been to that one and I was like, man.
Well, like Ray, I am a vegetarian.
Oh right, yeah. Zach and I just had some Coney Island dogs or Coney dogs in Detroit.
Yeah, the Coney dogs are okay. Yeah, the chili, mustard, and onions.
Oh,
it's got like chili on top of a hot dog with mustard. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
they're very sloppy. Yeah, it's like a very sloppy dog.
My pants are permanently stained from that night.
Yeah, are you all? Do you have any hypochondriac tendencies? Because that's like a big part of Ray's characters, that she's just like constantly like listing off different ways of dying and different types of illnesses.
She carries around her own soap in a plastic box.
No, I would definitely say more Molly vibes on that one. less of a hypochondriac for sure. Yeah, it is kind of funny how like Ray's the vegetarian and Molly isn't, but Molly's the one with the pig and Ray's like, I don't want that pig. Like it's gross and dirty.
Yeah, I like when Ray gives Molly some shit for drinking fruit punch. It's like, why don't you just drink cyanide? At least it's quick. Yeah. Yeah, she's just got tons of killer lines. She's Dakota's great in this.
Or when you when you send out the Zoom invite, newsflash, we're meeting.
Flash.
You started the party early. I really like that. Got me ready. Got me hyped. But yeah, I really like the scene before they go get those Coney Island dogs when they're like in the train over there. And she's like, we're going to go ride rides. It's like Disneyland. And she's like, you've never been to Disneyland? What? And Ray's like, alert the presses. But then she's like, oh, you're so psyched. You're so psyched. And Ray's like, whatever. And she's like, admit it, you're psyched. And she's like, okay, I'm psyched. Like, just is like so excited, but like won't crack a smile at all. She's just so cute.
Yeah. And also Molly explaining like the teacup thing, like spinning around till you puke. And she's like,
puke, it's gonna be so much fun.
And she's like, are you on crack? She just like says it so nonchalantly.
Yeah, a little 8-year-old. Or when she's flipping them off, like as they're in the beginning when they're leaving Molly's birthday, and she just like flips them off out of the window of the cab so early on.
Well, she flips off again, and then like Molly like grabs her hand, and she's like, "You're hurting me."
Yeah. Well, I do think it's kind of like, I do like that part because it's like as like lackadaisical as she is with her, she's like, yeah, when she does that, she's like, no, like don't ever do that to me again. And I think it kind of shows it's like, oh yeah, she needs like her mom would let her do whatever, you know, and Molly's like, no, like don't do that to me. And she's like, okay. And she doesn't really mess with her, you know.
Yeah, she sets some boundaries.
Which is important for little kids.
Yeah.
It's a harsh world.
The harsh world. And then you know what she does after she says it's a harsh world? Yep, she puts those sunglasses down. The sunglasses are one of my top favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah, that's when she first like sees her, when she says that she's her nanny. It's like she sees her in the glasses, like that. There's that shot of like you see Brittany Murphy in the reflection of her glasses. She's like,
So
oh
good.
my God,
And they
you're
zoom
my
in her
nanny.
face her
Yeah.
little mouth. So
Yeah, I
funny.
know. Her tiny little teeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to love about this movie.
Oh, I'm so glad. I really was like second guessing my choice. I was worried you guys weren't gonna. I don't know. I wasn't sure it would hit with you guys.
I mean, it's great.
It's very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about Brittany Murphy and Dakota Fanning, and they have great chemistry with each other, and they're both very charming and funny in their own ways, and that's what you come to the movie for, and it delivers that very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that's what the movie is about, you know.
Mm-hmm. Their relationship is great, and there's so many classic lines in this. And it's kind of a time capsule of that time, like
Yeah, totally.
the fashion and
The music.
the music, and yeah, just the way everything looks. But I mean, but I don't know, like Brittany Murphy, there's something about her that kind of like exists outside of that time period. Like, because even though she's like dressed up in the clothes and stuff, it's like she could pull that off. Like that person could exist today, easy.
And that whole, oh my gosh, like all of her styles, like even today are like so, like I would die for her
Her
wardrobe in the
hair and
movie. Her
everything,
hair,
yeah.
everything. Yeah, her outfits are so great. And the little Y2K, like early 2000s style is so in style right now. But hers is like, it was never like, it was never costumey. Like even when it was like out of style, just like all the stuff she wore was just like so great, so timeless. I read that one of the dresses that she wore, when she's like selling all of her stuff, she's wearing that white dress with like the little schoolgirls kind of on it. It's like this Moschino dress, and I guess they only had it in like a size 12, but the stylist really wanted her to have that dress, and she's like a size nothing. And so they like cut the dress up and like remade it to fit her because they were like, we want this dress. But yeah, just all of the things she wears are like so just yeah, I can't imagine them ever being out of style. Like, I just think she looks so great.
I don't know if there's any more iconic scenes that we've left on the table, Scout, that you want to bring up.
I feel like we got most of them.
I have one.
Which one?
Pez.
Pez.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I wrote down Pez. That was really funny.
So good. Am I gonna be able to pronounce it? So good.
Like, I mean, I feel like that whole scene kind of like summarizes her childlike nature and just kind of like her innocence, because like she doesn't really care that the lights are out in her house. She just like makes it work. She lights a bunch of candles, makes everything look as best she can, and then like pulls out this like immaculate silver tray of just like candy and Pez. And that's like how she like seduces this guy.
It would work on me.
It would be like feeding her Pez one at a time.
Talking to his story, and she's like,
yeah, she's
yeah,
like,
I don't know how we didn't talk about that earlier when we were talking about the silly scenes of her like throwing around the guitar and stuff.
Saving for the best for last.
Classic.
That was my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only time that feels like there's some real heat, some real romance between her and Neil. It's like her saying Pez.
Literally, that truly is the most romance that we get between them.
Yeah.
I'll never look at Pez the same way.
Yeah, me neither.
We don't need an 8 Mile. We don't need an Eminem scene. We just need Brittany Murphy and some Pez, and I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I highly recommend watching 8 Mile. You'll be like, okay, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, especially if someone lives in Detroit, I feel like that's something I need to do.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? You said you hadn't seen it either, right?
No,
Zach?
I haven't seen 8 Mile. I have been to Mom's Spaghetti, which is Eminem's restaurant in Detroit. Really bad. Well, it's just like kind of like Chef Boyardee quality at like $14.
Well, that's why he's a rapper and
not a restaurateur.
Well, actually, he's an actor, it sounds like.
Oh, true, yeah. Oh, he's a good actor. I mean, I don't know. 8 Mile's great.
Add it to the list along with all of other All of Brittany Murphy's other favorite movies.
Yep. Shrek.
Superstar.
Beverly Hills Cop.
But yeah,
Nice.
those Bob Fosse movies are great. Yeah, everyone should
Oh, yeah.
see All That Jazz. And yeah,
And the director, Boaz, Boaz Yakin. He's like I saw an interview with him, and he's like very serious
Really?
about yeah, like he was like I really wanted the photography of this film to like invoke Fellini, and like he's
What's
like
Fellini?
he's like a
Italian filmmaker.
yeah, Italian
Oh.
filmmakers made like 8.5 and like La Strada and
Yeah.
like all these like really like high art films. It's just like,
Does he have other movies?
this guy Boaz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he did Remember the Titans. Remember
Oh.
the Titans?
I remember it.
That's so
Donald
funny.
Faison's in that too as well.
I was telling the family that I was doing the podcast, and I was telling Sean about it. I was like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. And he was like, yeah, they're serious about it. And he was like, you should like look up the director. But
It's fine.
Yeah, it looks like he's made a bunch of random movies. And he's like he's written some movies. He's written the Prince of Persia movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's like a video game adaptation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very strange career.
He wrote the sequel to Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. He wrote the sequel to Dusk Till Dawn.
Wow.
All right.
He's all over the place.
Now You See Me. He wrote the sequel to Now You See Me, which I forget what comedian said. It was like, you're gonna make a sequel to Now You See Me and not call it Now You Don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just Now You See Me Too, right? Like TOO.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah, it's not even a good name. It's not even catchy.
But yeah, he's very serious about what he does.
That's so funny. Yeah, I like didn't look at it because I was like, oh, what the director? He's like as unimportant as Neil.
He does give Neil vibes for sure.
He gives Neil vibes.
I do like the use of classical music or like Mozart in the movie. Like when they're just casually listening to like that really intense Mozart song. That's really funny.
And then that's a good contrast with Brittany Murphy's character too, because when we're in her house, like she has like cartoons on and it has that kind of like old school Looney Tunes, like classical, like, orchestra music, like from like Wile E. Coyote and that kind of stuff playing in the background. And then you go to Ray's room and she's listening to Mozart. So yeah, there's a lot of subtle. Hey, maybe this Boaz guy, he maybe knows what he's doing.
He's onto something. When she sees his little music video, the Sheets of Egyptian Cotton music video, like her and Huey are in his apartment, and she's like, this song sucks. Like, why don't you listen to some Mozart? Like, you wouldn't know real music if it hit you in the head, Huey, which is like the same thing that Ray said earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, the little ways that their personalities are rubbing off on each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Funny.
Yeah, it's really cute.
And sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a charming little movie. I just think it's so cute.
Yeah. It's great. Well, do you have any final thoughts, Scout, on this film?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I am just so delighted that I watched it again. I don't think I'd watched it in like 5 years, and I was hoping that I would like it just as much, but I think I like it more. I like definitely have a different take on it now. I used to think that Neil was this cool guy, and yeah, just as you get older, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy sucks. Like he does nothing for her. And yeah, the same thing like I said about her friend Ingrid. Yeah, I used to think that she was like, I thought she was the worst. And I'm like, oh no, she's a great friend. I just think it's such a cute little movie. And then I think about, like, I have younger nieces now, like about the same age as Ray would be, like in relation to me, and just think of like the way that you impact other people's lives, and I just think it's such a cute little movie. I want to be their Brittany Murphy.
Yeah,
she's a good role model.
Or maybe they can be your Ray.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're less difficult, but some of them are particular for sure. And more, some of them give a little bit of Ray energy in the best way. Yeah. No, I just think it's a really sweet movie. I'm glad you guys liked it. And
it was fun.
Enjoyed it the other day. I enjoyed it again this morning, and I'm gonna add it back into the heavier rotation. I really do love the movie.
Yeah, you got to get that DVD back from your mom.
Yeah, seriously. Well, now they got an HBO.
Did your mom like really like this movie?
I don't know. Probably. I didn't ask her. I don't know where it came from. I'll have to ask her, like, where did this all begin? But
Yeah.
yeah, I just know I always really loved it. I'm sure she liked it. Otherwise, I'm sure she wouldn't put up with me watching it as many times as I did. And getting the movie. She must have gotten it.
Well, Renee, if you're listening to this,
Give us the answers.
yeah, send us a take two. Send us a
Send
little
us an
voice
email.
memo. Send us an
Aw.
email
Yeah.
at filmwithfamily@gmail.com.
Yeah. Austin, do you have any final thoughts on Uptown Girls?
I mean, nothing that I haven't already said. I think that you got to watch this Blockbuster video because she is just
I
so
don't think I've
cute. She's
seen
doing like
it.
cartwheels in the aisles and knocking shit over and just being really cute. And she's like so sweet to the guy
She
behind
just
the
seems that way.
counter.
Yeah.
She just seemed like
Yeah.
such a beautiful like ray of light. And likewise, Dakota Fanning like seems like way older than she is. Like, you know, as like an 8-year-old, you like look at these interviews and she's like acting so professional and like just really clear-headed little girl, you know, like very sophisticated. And I'd like to see more of what she's up to these days. I guess she was in Equalizer 3 last year, but
Yeah. Yeah. Her sister Elle Fanning, I think, is really she's more of a star than Dakota is now. Like
mm,
Elle Fanning's like she stars in this TV show on Hulu called The Great, which
Mm.
she's great in that. And she's in 20th Century Women and Neon Demon and the Maleficent movies. So I feel like
mm,
Elle Fanning is more famous. Like her younger sister's kind of eclipsed her now,
mm,
and Dakota's kind of just gets small parts here and there.
mm.
Um,
Well,
but as a kid, Dakota was on fire.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely the name that I'm like more familiar with for sure.
yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's a really sweet, charming movie. Kind of defies the laws of rom-coms in the early 2000s and has a lot more to say. Like, even though it still like has the vibe of just like kind of a silly 2000s movie, you know, like when you really think about it, it has a lot more to say and is a little bit more sophisticated. And that's the Boaz touch.
Mm. Yeah, this is a good movie. I'm glad you brought it to our attention, Scout. Great relationship that's on display here that you don't there's not really many movies like this, or I don't know, that this kind of dynamic that's presented by these characters feels very unique to this movie.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just think Dakota Fanning's super funny, gets a lot of good lines. I like when she's like, "Are you still with that disgusting guy?" or
Yes.
something.
You're
Yeah.
crying over him again.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then and like her like yeah, during the big emotional scene after her dad dies where they're at the spinning cups in Coney Island, and she like is like punching her and like just like having a real emotional breakdown. That's a pretty powerful emotional scene. And Moo the pig is really great. The way the arms fold is really good.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I've got
great
my
movie.
Moo here, right? Oh, he's gonna hop off the couch, but he's up here with me now. He's a
oh,
big cat. I don't know if you guys have seen my cat.
is that
No.
Romeo?
Yeah.
Dude, do your job, bro.
Yeah, get the
Yeah,
mouse.
get that freaking mouse, man. Um, well, yeah, you know, this was just great talking to you, Scout, and it's good seeing
Yeah.
you.
No, I had a lot of fun. I didn't know how much I was going to be able to talk about the
Mhm.
movie, but you guys
There you go. It's an hour and a half.
multifaceted.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just as long as the movie.
Well, yeah, you just kind of think of it as like a frilly little movie, but the more you get into it, yeah, it's pretty deep. It's got some good moments for sure. I'm glad you
Yeah.
guys liked it. I was definitely feeling a little nervous that you
Mhm.
wouldn't see the joy in it.
That we just give it a big old thumbs down.
No. Hey, as long
No.
as you give it more than 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'll take it. We're only going up.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah, I did see that Roger Ebert was a defender of this movie.
Who?
Roger
like
Ebert.
He's a famous
Oh.
film critic.
He likes it?
Yeah, he awarded it 3 stars out of 4 and said and likened Brittany Murphy to Lucille Ball. So there you go.
Done.
I see that.
Done.
She's a
I
star.
like this guy.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like not
No,
every movie has to be so like serious and it's just something that I feel like I could rewatch it a million times, and evidently I have.
Would you say this is your favorite movie of all time?
Yes. Yeah. I just like,
Wow.
well, because when you guys were talking about, okay, let me preface this. I don't think it's the best movie of all time, but to me, it's definitely my favorite movie. Like,
Personal favorite.
I mean, I couldn't even pick a number two. Like, there's just like literally nothing else even on the roster. It just has stuck with me. Like when you pick something when you're a little kid and you're like, I'm just rocking with this. That's me with Uptown Girls. I'm just rocking with this.
If we look past Rotten Tomatoes into the more modern Letterboxd.
Uh-huh. Oh, what are they giving it?
It's got a 3.7 out of 5.
Oh, done. Okay.
And
that's good.
And there's like 21,000 5-star ratings.
Done. See, these people get it.
And like the top reviews are like, Teacup Ride is the most emotional scene in cinema.
It's so sweet. Yeah.
Brittany Murphy is an angel.
She literally is an angel.
Like, This Is My Godfather. Like,
yes.
People fucking love this movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a misunderstood classic at the time.
Truly.
Yeah. And just had its 20th anniversary last year, so watch it.
Yeah. I agree.
And I hope to see you soon, Scout. Do you have any plans to come out to the Midwest anytime soon?
Probably not until summer, but I definitely love going to hope to go to the Bay this year.
Yeah, maybe we'll see you in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite place.
We had a great time last year.
We did, yeah. What was the game we were playing?
Rummy Cub.
Rummy Cube. Rummy Cub.
Yeah, Rummy Cube.
Yes. Yes.
Rules.
Yeah, that was an Austin gift. The gift of Rummy Cub.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah.
you weren't even there, but you were there in spirit. Well, I think you went later in the year, but I missed you.
Yeah, I played it a lot in Hawaii last year. My godfather, speaking of the Godfather, my godfather turned me on to this game, and immediately when I was playing, I was like, we have to have this up at the Bay. Like, this is a perfect Bay game, and it is.
That's so funny. Yeah, there's been a couple games for Christmas. I didn't really have a big my direct family, like my brothers and sisters. There's a lot of us. I'm like, I don't know what to get all of you. So I just got a couple board games. And it's so funny how immediately I'm like, oh, I got to bring this to the Bay. Like, I love this game. I got to bring this to, that's always my first thought on board games. It's like, oh, this would be perfect for the Bay because there's nothing else to do there but drink and play board games.
Yeah, no movies up at the Bay, but there's games.
Yeah.
Games with family.
Games with family.
All right. Well, let's end it there. Love you, Scout. And
I
hope
love
to see
you guys.
you again soon.
Yeah, me too. I had a really nice time. I had a lot of fun talking about it. And I'm glad you guys liked the movie too.
And we want to thank our listeners for listening to this episode of Film with Family. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at Film with Family. See what's going on with us there.
Yeah. And if you would like to send us an email, Renee, we're looking at you. You got to tell us how you came up with this copy of Uptown Girls and showed your daughter the greatest movie of all time. You can email us at filmwithfamilypodcast@gmail.com.
And in our next episode on the main feed, we will be talking about Drunken Master 2, or as some people know it, The Legend of the Drunken Master, starring Jackie Chan. And we'll be bringing on my brother Caleb and Austin's brother Drew for that episode. It's a real fun one. So stay tuned for that in 2 weeks. And we have a Patreon now. If you want to support the podcast, it's only $2 a month, and you get
it's $1.99.
Okay, it's $1.99. You save a cent every month, and you get a bonus episode every month. So that's good value right there, and it helps keep the podcast chugging along. So Yeah, find us there.
And we love the movies.
And we love our family.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
This is our little Valentine to you in
Cute.
audio form.
Done. I'll take it.
We love our listeners and we love our family.